Hi, my name is Jake. I play guitar. I've been playing guitar since I was 12. And today I wanted to go over my 3 LeoJaymz kits. So it's going to be kind of like a review and breakdown of the LeoJaymz kits. I bought 3 of them over the course of about 9 months, and I have gone on quite the epic journey to figuring out how to set these things up and how to paint them, how to wire them, the whole thing. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's see what these things are all about. All right, so the first guitar that we're going to go over is their Strat kit. I believe I got it for $80 straight off of Amazon. I'm not sure if they sell their stuff anywhere else. That's where I've gotten their kits from. And the Strat kit, despite being $80, is probably one of the best guitars that I've gotten out of the whole bunch. And keep in mind, for the vast majority of the time that I've owned this guitar, it wasn't painted. I didn't even have polyurethane or any true oil or anything on the neck. It was just a plain wood neck until I put some finish on there. And during that time, I think it was probably one of the best set up guitars that I've had. Unfortunately, I feel like some people are gonna be like, "Oh, go buy a Fender." It's gonna have a lot to do with how you set it up. So it's gotten better over time, and that's the thing that I think is really nice about these kits, and what I think Leo is trying to do with the kits in general. I think his whole idea is to have a platform for people to get into lutherie and working on stringed instruments. And for that, I think it's really great. The Strat kit, I ran into problems, but I feel like it was stuff that I should have expected while I was working on a guitar. And in fact, some of the problems that I ran into on the Strat kit, I had already run into on other guitars and pretty much just stopped because I didn't really know where to go from there. And now I feel a lot more confident about what I've done. So yeah, I've used the Strat kit on the channel quite a few times. It's got some pretty good sound to it. I have a hard time saying that guitars have a natural sound to them, because at the end of the day, it's the strings that are making the sound, right? So what does the guitar have to do with it? I guess. And the pickups aren't going to pick up the sound of the guitar resonating. They're going to pick up the sound of the strings resonating. Anyways, I would say it sounds like a guitar. I don't know. So what do you get with the Strat kit when you buy it? I mean, it's like $80, $90. So what do you reasonably expect out of your Strat kit? Well, I expected 3 single coils, a volume pot, 2 tone pots, a pick guard, one of these tremolo bridges. And you get all this stuff. And it works. I mean, I'm not a fan of these bridges, the 6-point bridges, and I've tried to make it work. I've tried to you can see I took out some of the screws. I've readjusted everything. I've watched so many videos on how to set these things up. But that's not necessarily like the thing that I'm getting out of it, you know, because like this body is so much thicker than the Squire body. I wish I had the white Strat, because I would show you that's a 22 or a 23, and this body is just so much thicker. And I know it's solid mahogany too, because I've seen the wood grains that go through the body. And I guess that's kind of getting to my point here, is that like these are solid pieces of wood. The hardware might be crap, and in fact, I might have thrown it away by now, but I actually broke one of the volume pots, because there's these little things on the side, these little pins that are supposed to go into the pick guard. And I switched the pick guard out, and I didn't know that you were supposed to have a little hole, so I ended up breaking a couple of these, and I had to get new pots, which wasn't a big deal because I was going to do that anyways. I wanted to experiment. But yeah, that's, again, another one of the things that I ran into. So yeah, you get like really good pieces of wood. You get halfway decent hardware. Like this is metal. This bridge is metal. The tuners tune the guitar. I can down tune. I could go down to like drop B. And that's the other thing, is it would intonate pretty well too. As long as you get the neck into that pocket properly. And like, this is speaking about all of them. It seems to fit pretty well. And again, I've only bought 3 kits, so it's not like, you know, I'm just manufacturing these things in a sweatshop or something. Like I just put 3 together, and these are my thoughts and ideas. And yeah, I think if there was any issue that I really had with the kit itself, outside of the fact that like you don't get a completely functional guitar out of the box, which isn't like, that's not a complaint. How can you say that a kit guitar is bad because you don't get a fully functional guitar out of the box? Like I expected to have to build some stuff, you know? So what did I not like? I didn't like the hardware. You know, the electronics. And I mean, that's kind of hard to say, like, or give them a hard time about Strat electronics, because I feel like everybody's just going to upgrade them anyways. They were just, like, kind of cheap, you know? Like, and this is a thing that I'm going to point out next, because the next kit that I got was the headless kit, which is a step up in the price point. You know, I have a hard time saying I disliked anything about the Strat kit. The Strat kit's really nice. The neck is very thin. It's sturdy. You know, again, you get solid pieces of wood. Intonates well. The nuts set properly. It was filed down pretty well. Nice and smooth. I didn't really have to adjust that at all, to be honest with you. I just had to put a neck shim in to get the action right. One of my first paint jobs, and it's not super great. It's actually kind of crappy, to be honest with you. But that being said, let's get on to the even crappier paint job with the headless kit. I'm going to put this one back up on the wall, though. So, despite the fact that I completely botched this finish, and like, I'm not even going to lie, I attempted a refinish, and I took some steel wool to it, and I was actually just trying to like chisel it off, basically. And I got pretty worn out, and I just kind of left it, and it dried. And it'd probably be easier to fix now. And I mean, I should, and I probably will, because I accidentally put a screw all the way through the body. And that kind of brings me to some of my complaints about this kit. So this kit is a step up in a price point. So like you go from an $80 guitar, $90 guitar to a like $160 guitar, and I don't know if you really get that much more out of it. I had the issue where the pickups were microphonic, so I ended up swapping the covers out for plastic ones. The pots were crap. The switch was pretty crappy too. And that was the one thing that it's like, I kind of expected to get maybe something a little bit better on the electronics front. But it was these crappy little Chinese pots. And I haven't swapped them. So like, let's just pop this open real quick. I'll show you guys. So, fun little fact about the kit. I was trying to get like a sparkle finish with some rainbow sparkle over a black, and it obviously didn't work, like I've said I don't know how many times now. But I took those black pickup covers and I took this back plate for the control cavity and I put the sparkle finish over it, and it looks pretty sweet. I'll show it here in a second. Let's see here. Yeah, you can kind of get the rainbow sparkle. It's there. It's there a little bit. Let's see here. Wow. That really just does not show up on cameras. It's there, but like... There we go. That's a little better. Anyways. On to what we were talking about here. So... yeah, I kind of went all crazy on this one. And turned it into an amalgamation of pots and switches and capacitors, and basically I have 3 separate low cuts and 3 separate high cuts. Yeah. Basically these are 2 tone pots. One controls bass and one controls treble, and then there's not really a gain option. Like, you could turn this one down to like 1 or 2 and it kind of goes down in gain a little bit, but after that it just goes straight out. No sound. Everything goes to ground. But yeah, I think I said I was going to talk about the complaints that I had with this guitar, and then I started talking about the things that were good with it. But yeah, they left a lot of room in there. So yeah, this body is a lot thinner than I thought it would be. I thought it would be thicker, because, you know, like the Strat kit is thicker. But then again, this is one of those things where it's like, it's a headless guitar, so it's supposed to be like really thin, ergonomic and whatnot. So it being thin makes sense. I don't know. I thought I was going to get something more with the money that I spent. And that brings me to the next point, and let's see if I can get this here. If not, I'll just put a picture up. But that high E, and I've tried to readjust this like saddle thing for the strings on the end of that. This isn't a headstock, it's an end stock? I don't know what to call this thing. But yeah, there's like a weird gap where the nut isn't filed properly to match with this, and no matter how I orient this bridge, it just doesn't seem to work. That might be something that I tackle today, because I've been working on stuff periodically. In case you were wondering, bit aside, that's what I've been doing this whole time. That's why I haven't been making videos, is because I've been making guitars instead. I sold one of my guitars. Yeah, I've done a lot of work in days of late. So yeah, let me put this one back together and we'll go over the Tele kit. while I'm putting this back together, some final thoughts. I do think this is an awesome guitar, and like, I will go through the process of at least fixing this hole back here. There's a patch where I missed some polyurethane on the neck, and I'll definitely fix that up. But like, that's the one thing that I can say is like, there's like 20 or 30 different compliments I could make about each of these guitars and how Leo set them up to be sent to a customer. And I'm saying Leo like as a collective, because I know they're a company. I don't know if LeoJaymz, is he an actual guy? I guess I should probably look into that, right? Before I just dump a couple $100 into a company. Who cares? But yeah, like, for every complaint that I have about these guitars and the kits in general and Leo and the company, there's probably like 5 or 6 more compliments that I could use to cover that one complaint up with. So it really, it's kind of impressive if you ask me. I do think that these things are pretty good. And again, I probably should have started with this. I just bought these kits. I didn't get anything from Leo. I just bought these kits to try them out and to have mod platforms and to learn how to screw around with guitars. So yeah, that's why I got these kits and what I've been doing with them. Let's move on to the final kit, and the one that I'm kind of excited about. This is my Telecaster. And oh man, I love this thing. This thing is so cool. So yeah, this is kind of like the Strat kit in that I expected the electronics to be kind of crappy. So I've pretty much swapped out all the electronics. Like, I've got a push-pull pod on here, coil tapping. I switched out the tone cap. Both the pickups are different. You know, obviously I wouldn't be able to get coil tapping if the pickups weren't different. Yeah, I painted the pickguard and split it in half. Put poly on the neck, put my numbers on the headstock. The only thing that I haven't really changed is the tuners and like the bridge saddles. Like, I adjusted intonation and action and all of that. And speaking of which, it could use another shim. Or a thicker shim, I should say. But yeah, other than that, this kit was like perfect. And I knew it straight out of the box too. I started to paint the kit and it's like, oh man, I'm getting somewhere with this. And yeah, you know, I feel like maybe some of these complaints that I have about these kits are more my own fault than anything, which is more than likely a really good thing for Leo and the company itself. I think I've seen like maybe one review on these kits. No, 2 for sure. I know the second one was Samurai Guitarist. I saw he bought the Strat kit and it looked really nice, and I was like, man, I should try that. And that's kind of part of what started this. But yeah, got infinitely better with the finish on this. I got my base coat really well. I just didn't let it dry enough before I went and I put tape on it, and then I put more coats onto it. And I've kind of got this silver stuff that like overflowed and ran, and then this white that kind of ran but didn't like accumulate anywhere. So we've got these like bare patchy spots that kind of look like snow. And then, it's like kind of starting to relic in some of the areas. So I might end up taking the hardware off. And like, I could talk about this finish all day. I love this finish. I screwed up parts of it. Like, there's this little black bit right here where I accidentally got one of my soldering trays too warm on top of it, and it kind of ripped some of the paint off. And like, it was just bare wood. So I took a paint pen and just painted it black. And like, that's part of the thing that I love about this guitar is like, if I didn't tell you that, you wouldn't know. You'd just be like, oh, like it got scratched and the gray came up and revealed the undercoat. Like, that's what you would think, because that's what it looks like. Oh, every scratch can be a story now, you know? And I think that's kind of the thing that I wanted to come to, you know, full circle with these kits, is that, like, I started with that Strat kit, and I basically didn't do anything to it. I was basically just messing around with the electronics, and then I got to the point where I felt confident enough to do a finish on it. And it just, the more work you do on it, the more you fall in love with it. And I feel like this is something that I've heard echoed about guitars for a long time. And now I'm getting to kind of finally experience it myself a little bit. So yeah, that's the LeoJaymz Jake review. I got to come up with a better name for that, but at the end of the day, I'm going to give the LeoJaymz kits a 5 out of 5, except for the headless kit. We will see if I'll buy another one. I think I might want to get one of the maple top ones. The thing that worries me is this knot. I might try to fix this and see if I can sort of redact that complaint. I'm gonna screw around with the headless kit. They get a 5 out of 5 from me for now. Good job, guys. Great guitars.
Alright, quick little aside before I conclude this video. I just wanted to say that I did end up going back and fixing the headless. The little deal where the high E string wouldn't connect with the nut properly. I readjusted the end stock, or whatever you want to call it, and I was able to get it so it kind of curves and then lines up with it. It's not perfect, but it's better. Like a little final note, I wanted to say, if there's anything that you guys have questions about, I was thinking about doing individual videos on the kits, because there really is a lot to unpack here, and I'm realizing that as I'm going through the video, is that I didn't go over a lot of the topics as much as I would have liked to, but I think it's also good for the video to keep it pretty concise. So thank you for watching, and thank you for sticking out for this long of a